What is up, brothers of the BDL, and welcome to the episode 4 of The Stinger. Tonight I have a very special treat for everybody. Joining me is one of the most beloved owners/managers in the BDL, and is no other than Joe Weish of the Ahwatukee Amish Brotherhood. Welcome, Joe, and how are you doing tonight? And thanks for finding some time in your busy schedule to do this show.
My pleasure, and let me just say it is great to have the Amish back on the BDL airwaves once again. It has been far too long.
I think it's been far too long for most anybody not to be on the airways. We haven't really had a whole lot of podcasts anymore. We're trying to change that.
That's true.
So it's happened. And this is something that I always wanted to do with you for pretty much ever since I came into the league, 5 years ago. I thought for sure we'd be doing a lot more of these podcast type stuff, but we just never gotten together. So maybe this could be a new start for us.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
So we're just going to talk some basic stuff. We're going to go over some major league stuff first, and then we'll talk some of our the BDL playoff scenarios. So the first question for you, Joe, are you at least excited that there's going to be some MLB baseball this year?
Well, I wasn't until this week when things finally started ramping up in fantasy. But yeah, the switch has been flipped. I'm excited, officially on board, ready to listen to some Diamondback baseball, ready to follow on a daily basis what's going on in fantasy. Yeah, this is it. Let's get this thing going. I am ready.
So I was kind of with you too. I probably got back into it maybe a little bit sooner because I was sitting in my cube and I kept on looking at the calendar going, well, if they don't make a decision here pretty soon, we're going to go from 120 games to 100 games. And I kept on thinking, if we go under 100 games, this is never going to work. And when they made the announcement that they're going to be doing a 60-game season, I was like, sounds kind of stupid. But then I started watching some MLB Tonight maybe 3 weeks ago, and those guys really started getting me pumped. And one of the things that they started getting me pumped about was saying, you know what, it's going to be such a short season that it's basically going to be playoff baseball for the next 2 months with everybody having a shot to do it. So do you kind of agree that this might be a 2 months of playoff type baseball?
Yeah, I mean, the excitement level will be off the charts. I think such a short season gives everyone a chance. You know, I look at a team like the Padres, so much young talent on that team, that ballpark with that pitching staff. I think they're going to have a shot, at a wild card, not necessarily win a division, but, if you got a chance to play for a wild card right from the get-go, you're going to let it all hang out.
That's right. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm falling in love with the Padres for the last couple of years, and so I'd really love to see them make a good run at this. Any other teams that you're kind of excited to see? I'm kind of excited to see maybe Tampa Bay maybe try to make a run at this, and maybe the Chicago White Sox.
For me, teams that I'm excited about are limited to teams that have some of my young fantasy players. So I'm with you. I'm excited about Tampa Bay. I want to see what Glasnow can do on a, hopefully healthy, relatively full season. I want to see what the White Sox can do. I want to see if my players can solidify their roles in the outfield, even though it's going to be a crowded outfield. Always want to see what the Diamondbacks are going to do. Probably limited to those.
Yeah.
As far as my excitement level, I want to kind of keep it close.
I was excited about the Diamondbacks until I saw them scrimmage the last couple nights, and they looked like shit. So I don't know if you saw any of that fiasco.
I don't have any updates on how their season is. Their spring training 2 is gone.
Well, this will tell you that it was an expedition or a scrimmage game. I can't speak. Was that in the first inning they had I think it was Wilder as one of the pitchers, and he gave up about 5 runs and he couldn't get an out, and they just called the inning because they said basically gave up. And
Is this a new rule?
Yeah, they pulled everybody off the field and said this guy's never going to get anybody out, so let's go to inning number 2.
Nice.
But yeah, they got shellacked last two nights by the Dodgers. And the Dodgers look like they're ready to roll again, which I can't stand.
Well, hopefully they'll lose.
Yeah,
Not against wishing poor luck. I don't want to go as far as saying injuries, but
yeah, it's always sweet to watch the Dodgers lose. Do you think
some well-timed sprained ankles I'm okay with?
Yeah. Do you think because of how this season is now going to start, at the beginning of spring training, there was a bunch of talk about Houston and their stealing the signs and how everybody was pissed off on them, and it was going to be kind of interesting to see how teams handled them this year. Do you think now with this big delay that they kind of got off the hook, or do you think that there's still going to be some revenge games?
Oh, I think there are going to be some revenge games, quite a few of them. I don't think they can't walk away that easily. And they were fortunate, and everything that happened around us right now is kind of taking the shine off of their transgressions. But it'll come back once that first pitch is thrown. Hopefully, it's going to be at the head of a Houston hitter. There's going to be plenty of blowback.
Yep, I 100% agree. I hope somebody plunks these guys a few times just to put them back in their place a little bit.
Will Houston play the Yankees?
They won't play the Yankees unless they make the playoffs. They'll play the Dodgers. So
okay.
So that might be.
So
Yeah. So the way that
I'd circle that on the calendar.
Yeah. So the way they broke it up, most of the games are going to be within their own division, and then when they do play, it's just going to be the National League West and the American League West will have a few games. So they're trying to stay in their region.
Okay.
So a few other rule changes that are going to go into effect this year. I'll just kind of get your opinion on it. The National League's now going to do a DH. What do you think about that?
Not a fan, but for this season, I think it is it's the way to go. I don't want this to become a permanent thing, though. I like traditional National League baseball with pitchers sucking at hitting.
Yep. Unfortunately, I have a feeling that we'll never see another pitcher bat again. But because I think this is going to be they're going to do this year, and they're just going to say let's continue, which is going to suck because I'm with you. I love the national style baseball with pitchers hitting, more strategy and stuff like that. And I know we talked a lot about it on the boards, so we won't get into too much detail about that. But yeah, I think the DH for both leagues is going to be here to stay. I have a feeling. So another rule that they're implementing this year is for relief pitchers. It's the 3-batter minimum. What do you think about that?
No opinion. I don't know. I mean I don't know. Maybe it takes a little bit of the value off a lefty specialist, but honestly, should you be in baseball if you can't get 3 guys out?
Right, exactly. No, I definitely think it, like you said, it's going to get rid of the loogie for sure. It's probably going to speed up the game a little bit because you're not going to be waiting for pitchers to warm up. But again, part of that rule is that if you come in and you get 1 out in the inning and you come back, the next inning, you don't have to send that guy back out there. But if you do, then he has to get 2 outs.
The speed of the game has never been an issue for me. I don't give a shit how long a baseball game is. If it's a longer game, it just means I have more time to hang out at the ballpark, and that's not a big problem for me. So, I think they should find other ways if they really want to speed up the game. I don't think you need to mess with any of the tradition that has been in place forever. Find different ways.
Yep.
I think they.
One thing I've noticed that is speeding up the game is because there is no crowds out there. But the catcher's the ball back to the pitcher, he's on the rubber, and the batter doesn't get out of the box, and they just go. So hopefully that will.
I saw a huge crowd between I think it was the Mets and the Yankees. just recently. This was just a couple days ago. I mean, they had all kinds of cardboard people in the stands. It was outstanding. I had goosebumps.
Cardboard people and fake noise piped in.
There was one real dude in the stands, and it was like, where's Waldo? So
and he was probably the clubhouse attendant. All right, so one more rule change, just to get your opinion on it. If extra innings happen, they're going to put a runner on second base to start the every half inning. You like that or not?
No, I can't stand it again. I think it goes. You know what? I have mixed emotions. Because now that it would be, and if you have that instead of, going into the 14th, 15th inning, and you have the absolute back of the bullpen, that's not good baseball. But at the same time, to me, again, I'm spending more time in the ballpark just watching a baseball game. Extra innings, that's what I want to see. I'd rather see that, a 2-1 pitching duel, tied in the ninth, goes 14 innings. That's a dream game for me, as opposed to 14-10 5-hour game. So
right. Yep. And so I take it you wouldn't be a fan of a tie.
No. Please tell me that's not a rule.
No.
Okay.
It would just be a way to speed up games, but I
don't want baseball to be hockey.
Yeah, I mean exactly. For the most part, I don't mind how long games go, but if they're looking for ways to speed it up, I'd rather them do that than cut out some other things that they could.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about for the regular MLB season, or do you want to move on to our BDL league?
Let's talk BDL.
Okay.
I'm more excited about that, honestly.
Yeah, of course, right. But if I don't make this at least 30 minutes, guys are gonna get mad at me. So I'm trying to drag it out a little bit. All right. So this year, because of the shortened season, we're definitely changing up our schedule. Chris and Scotty look like they came up with a pretty good idea of doing this playoff bracket where we play 2 weeks and we got 4 weeks of a season. So basically, the season's gonna be 8 weeks long. Any thoughts on how these guys set it up? I mean, I know you have your own league where you're kind of playing everybody once through the conference, but do you kind of like how they set up this playoff scenario?
I do. I love that it's outside the box. I like that that NCAA March Madness feel to it. You win, you move on. You lose, you're out.
Right.
And just the way that we have our divisions, the format of our league, I don't think there was a way that we could have done, play your teams in your division, and then how do you choose which other division that you would face? I suppose you could face the other Pacific or the other Atlantic teams, but I think for the time that Scotty and Chris had to pull this together, I think they did a really good job. I'm going to give Chris all the credit. Scotty gets none.
Yeah. Scotty can't come up with this type of shit, right? Actually, at first when they first laid it out, I was kind of like, oh, what is this? But the more I look at it, it's like, you know what, this actually is pretty good. And the one fear that I kind of had was, again, if you lose that first week, you're done. And that's really going to suck that, okay, I waited 10 months for some baseball and I got 2 weeks of playing and now I'm out of it. But they put some little, some extra treats in there to keep us interested through the whole tournament, which is good. And one of the good things I think they did was making the matchup a 2-week matchup. It's highly unlikely, I think, that a bad team is going to be the good team 2 weeks in a row. Again, they might be able to pull it off for 1 week, but 2 weeks, right. Typically your better team is going to be able to pull that out. So I think by making it a 2-week matchup, that's going to be good for us.
I don't think anyone is going to be disappointed, really, if they lose in the first round of this. I mean, I think we're all really excited just to get a little taste of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
even in just a 9 or 10 week package. But, you know, yeah, maybe one of these teams is going to pull off an upset. You know, maybe, I think the Cars might pull off an upset. Is really not digging my team, but there are other teams that might. Maybe Scotty loses in the first round.
Yeah.
That
There
would be
definitely
great.
some interesting matchups that, I mean, I'm definitely worried about my first week matchup with the Bears because they definitely improved over the season. But so yeah, there's definitely some teams that could pull something off, and but we'll see. So let's dive into this bracket. Let's do the first two rounds that basically give us a division uh, champion, and let's start in the Atlantic. You want to start with the East or the South?
We can start with the South.
Okay, South. All right, so the number one seed is the Wallabies, and they're going to be matched up against the number 4 seed, the Memphis Chicks. Do you see this as much of as a matchup at all?
No, well, I'm going to do a quick perusal of the Memphis team, and I'm finished. So no.
Right.
No, I think Brent, despite not being on the boards forever, I think his team has got plenty. I think Cody Bellinger will out-hit the entire Memphis squad over those 2-week period. No, I don't think Brent's going to have any issues here. I don't necessarily think his team is great, but I think he's got more than enough to handle the Memphis squad in the first round.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a chance that there could be an upset there.
Yeah. I don't think there's no chance. I think Brent's team is actually pretty good. Again, really what that team always boils down to is how active is Brent going to be. So I did crunch some numbers. And again, it's all based off of CBS's stats. So take those however you want to take them. And I kind of broke it up when I did the pitching side of it. I basically select every single pitcher that you have available, which could be minor league pitchers. And then when you do the hitting side, I only do your starting roster. I don't do your bench and any of your minors, just because getting those guys in the game is as often as you can with your pitching. So with that,
right.
The Wallabies actually have the third best pitching staff and the fifth best hitting staff. And the Chicks have the worst pitching staff and the 13th worst hitting group. So you're basically, it should be a very lopsided week.
Yeah, and okay, so maybe Brent's team's better than I thought.
Yeah. They're pretty good. Again, that what fools you is he doesn't pay attention all the time, and so he's not making the roster moves that he should be making. So,
well, his team has a lot of players I can't stand. So secretly, I'm kind of hoping that the mega upset is pulled off in week 1. Secretly, no offense, Brent, but I hate your team.
If that happens, we have to come up with a new format. I don't know. Now the Chicks, give the Memphis Chicks a little bit of a break here because, historically that has been one of the worst organizations in the BDL. He's just taken it over. This is his second year in it. I do think he has a pretty good minor league roster, and again, if those guys can come up and actually contribute at some point in time, again, it's problem is it's 2-3 years, maybe even longer than that down the road, and with any of the new guys, it's just you have to have patience. You have to see it through, and don't give up after a couple years of not winning. So,
and that's always been the point with the newer guys. When are they going to flip the switch? I think Zach's team is, like you said, the minors are pretty stacked. Will he have the patience to see those guys through?
Yep.
Yep. We've seen plenty of teams, myself included, not be patient and flip that switch with some ill-advised moves. Maybe I'm just talking about my team, but we'll see. We'll see how Zach goes.
Yep. No, we all kind of go through that, right? And again, it's also it's going to be a multiple year thing. You have the patience to just stay in the league, right? And that's the key right there. All right, so let's move along. So we're both going with the Wallabies for that one. The seed number 2 is the Generals against seed number 3, the Vipers. Another new team, the Vipers. Who do you like in the Gens facing the Vipers? And if you want me to do the stat comparison first before you make a guess, I can do that.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Because I'm
Okay.
just trying to take a closer look, trying to see if there's anything that Chula Vista has that might put them in position to pull off an upset.
Yeah, this will be a quick search for you also. So the Generals have the 5th best pitching staff and the 7th best hitting staff, and the Vipers have the 13th best, or the 13th place pitching staff and the 14th place hitting staff. So, again, kind of another lopsided matchup in my opinion. The Generals, I mean, again, flukes can happen. Again, with the start of the season, we don't know how long pitchers are going to go or who's going to have a cold start or, type of stuff. So could something strange happen, I guess. But on paper, the Generals should really run away with this.
You know what? I'm going to, not for ratings or anything, but I'm going to say it out loud right now. The Generals lose this matchup.
Okay.
I think Rendon's got the oblique injury.
Yep.
I think that Chula Vista has enough arms right now to match up with the arms that Scotty has. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. I don't think that Chula Vista has to go out and throw 5 shutouts over those 2 weeks to be in position to pull off some pitching category victories. I think there's enough there. Chapman is hurt. I don't know. Is he going to be okay to start the season?
No.
I think there's question marks enough.
Yeah, I think Chapman.
Enough question marks on Scotty's team where he'll be nervous. So, what's going on with Altuve?
Yeah, he just got hurt.
Right. So I think there's some question marks there. I would be nervous if I was Scotty.
Well,
Scotty's going down.
Yeah, and when Scotty gets nervous, Scotty finds ways to make trades, and so I want to be finds a way to rip somebody off at the last minute to pull this out. But I won't be such a hater on Scotty, and so I'm still going to pick him. But I got you down for the Vipers.
All right, I'm going Vipers on my sheet.
All right. So for that division now, you will have the Wallabies versus the Generals. Or no, you'll have the Wallabies versus the Vipers, and I'll have the Wallabies versus the Generals. Who are you going to take between the Wallabies and the Vipers?
Well, is it who I want because of the players that I don't like, or is it who I think is going to win? It's going to be Brent will take that division. It's got a lot of players I don't like. I think I've mentioned that before.
Yeah.
Just real a-holes littered across his roster.
I'll tell you right now, if the Vipers pull off beating the Generals and beating the Wallabies, I think some heads are I think some people are going to be pretty upset.
Will there be a new Chula Vista owner?
Yeah, really. They'll get kicked out just for that, right? I don't see the Wallabies losing to either one of these guys, whether it's the Vipers or the Generals. It depends on how active Brent is. I'm going to assume that Brent is all in.
Right.
So I guess we'll both take the Wallabies to win in the division.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Scotty, I'm going to tell you right now, if after this first week, again, waiting 10 months and I'm out the first 2 weeks, I'm going to be pissed. So I can't imagine Scotty's going to flip out if he loses in 2 weeks.
He will not be happy.
No. He'll probably, again, what he'll do is no, he won't, but our season's over. I'm not handing out a trophy This is bullshit. Let's wait till next year.
Never happened, but
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the East. The beast of the East. These are four really good. Wow, I'm going to say really three really good teams. One on the decline, one on the upside. So we'll run through these guys. The seed number one is the Carolina Cardinals, and they're going to be matching up seed number 4 from last year, which is the Boston Double Downs. This is a bad draw for the Double Downs. Again, I don't think that they're the 4th place team, so they're kind of getting robbed in the seeding based on last year's results. I definitely think the Double Downs are a team that's on the up. And to me, this is actually a little bit closer than what we might imagine. Of course, the Cardinals always find a way in the last few years to dominate the whole league. So we'll see if he can make it 3 years in a row. But he has Matt has the number 2 pitching staff and the number 6 hitting staff, and the Double Downs have the number 8 pitching staff and the number 7 hitting staff. So again, I think it's close. Again, I haven't really looked lately at who's injured and who's not. And then I think I ran my numbers either Sunday or Monday. So again, some of that could change. Mm-hmm. So who do you like in between Matt's and?
I like Kevin's team in a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I think these teams they're statistically dead even.
Right. Yeah.
It really is a toss-up.
Very close for a number 1 seed and number 4 seed for sure that they're this close.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I don't have anything that tells me definitively that Kevin is going to win this. It's just a gut feeling that he is going to make up for last year, and it won't be an upset if he won, but I think it'll be a tiebreaker. He'll take the Counting Cats.
Yep. And you know what? I'm gonna go with you also. I'm gonna pick the Double Downs also. If for anything else, Matt needs to lose at something in this league. And so for him to go out in the first round, I think it might be good for him. So we'll both go with the Double Downs taking this round. All right. The number 2 seed in the East is the Rockets versus the number 3 seed, the Damage. Again, to me, as we talked earlier about the Double Downs on their way up, to me the Damages are on the way down. I had in an earlier podcast at the beginning of the spring training, I had predicted that this would be the first year that the Damage would not make the playoffs. Of course, we're not having really a playoff scenario here, so. But I'm going to stick with that the Damage is. I think his days of dominance are over. The Rockets have the number 5 best pitching staff and the number 2 best hitting staff. The Damage have the number 9 best pitching staff and the number 10 best hitting staff. Again, this was before the Beaver trade. I don't know if it made much of a difference in those categories or not. Kind of gave up a.
Well, I really like that. I'd like that trade a lot for Bill. And Beaver's a rock solid player.
Oh yeah.
And he gave away some guys that are on the back end of their careers.
Yeah. He definitely got the best player in it. Now he did get or did get a couple players in return, but yeah, I mean who did he get? Who's the Chicago pitcher?
Yeah, Lester.
Yeah, Lester's done. He's nothing. Charlie Morton, okay, he can make up some, and DJ LeMahieu, depending on. I mean, I don't know if he's going to repeat what he did in the playoffs last year, but I'd much rather.
Well, or definitely got quantity, and he'll be able to use that. He's going to have 25 starters anyway, so
Yep.
I'm sure he'll use that to his advantage. Long term, I think that player that Bill got is outstanding. I have a vested interest in Bill's team sucking this year. I have his number one pick, so I want him to lose in the first round. I think he will. I think the Rockets are too good.
Yeah.
But then I want NorCal to run away with the losers bracket, and then I would have the number one pick overall, and I'd be okay with that.
You'd be okay with that. And I'm sure you'd give it up for Justin or for Shane Bieber.
Oh yeah, well, if that trade was offered, I would have to seriously consider it.
Yeah. Just wait until after we play. All right, so we both have the double downs on the Rockets. So for that division championship, again, both these teams are very close stat wise. I think really either one of them could win the division. Which one do you kind of favoring? Double downs or Rockets?
I like the Rockets. I'm biased because I'm a huge Acuna fan. So worst trade I've ever made in my life. Not a day goes by that I don't regret it. But he's too much on that team right now for Kevin's squad to do anything. And maybe pitching wise, he doesn't. Mike doesn't have the pitching staff he typically has.
Right.
When Kevin can keep that close, but the hitting cats, those are going to go all Rockets, and I think I'm going to say 7-3 for the Rockets.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with the Rockets also. It'd be kind of nice to see Kevin take that division. And again, it would be awesome if he could beat both the Cardinals and the Rockets. That's two really tough weeks for him to pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go the Rockets also. All right, let's go up to the Pacific Conference, and we'll start with the West. The number one seed from the West is the Lions, and the number 4 seed is the Woo. The Lions have the 4th best pitching staff, but they have the 12th best hitting staff, and the Woo, they're pretty much in the cellar and all across the board. Not the worst, but second to worst, basically 14 and 15. To me, there's no way the Lions can.
No, I'm definitely not seeing it. I forgot this is Arlie's old team.
Yep.
Yeah, that is a stacked pitching staff, and
yep.
There's certainly enough hitting there to get by John's team.
Yeah.
John's got that rebuild in full motion, but it's going to be a few years.
Yeah. And we're having this conversation in 2 years. John's team could be a force to be reckoned with if all those guys pan out, because he's probably got 20 definitely top 100 players. It's just going to be a timing thing. It's going to be a timing thing with him, and then not making a dumb trade like the Pete Alonso trade. When you do have somebody that hits and they're young, why are you trading them for more prospects? I have no idea. But that was a piece to build around. All right, so we're both going to go with the Lions, and this is Arlie's old team, and I still can't believe Arlie bailed on us. But that might be a different story for a different day.
I think just thinking on top of my head right now, I don't know a whole lot about Alex, Zach, or it's Michael, right?
Yep, Michael.
Chula Vista.
Yep.
So it would be great for these guys to get on, maybe Scotty's show or just to know more about them.
Yep.
Certainly make it easier to trade with them, but not that.
Yeah. When Scotty
cared about my future, but
when Scotty cared about this league, he used to have new guys on and give them an interview, but apparently he's too big. So
it'd be good to see the new guys.
If this episode turns out okay, and I'm a little bit worried about the sound quality, maybe I'll give them a reach out to them, and maybe we can have them on and do what Scotty and Johnny used to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of Scotty and Johnny doing a show, they need to come back and do a show because they did really good when they did their podcast.
They did, but it's been about 300 years since they did a show, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It's been a long time. All right. So we're both going with the Lions.
We are going with the Lions.
Yep. All right. So the seed number 2 and the seed number 3 from the West, we have the Elevation and we got the Cramps. To me, this is a very interesting matchup because these guys are complete opposites of one another.
Yes, they are.
Elevation's real good in the pitching. The Cramps have no pitching whatsoever. Elevation, again, kind of average in the hitting staff. The Cramps have one of the best hitting staffs, right? So, again, you got one guy winning 5 categories on the hitting side and one guy winning 5 categories on the pitching side. Now, you talked about a tiebreaker earlier in the show. This is definitely going to be probably a tiebreaker game. Although I don't want to give it to the Cramps. So somehow Ort's got to pull this thing out.
Well, I think Ort will pull it out because Brian will take ERA and WHIP with the pitchers he has are rock solid. So he'll take ERA, WHIP. He'll take batting average. Ort's going to take the counting cats. It's going to be a tie, and he's going to win.
Yep. Yeah. Again, if this, earlier podcasts, I've kind of talked about the Cramps. His whole season was going to be either 6-4, 5-5, 4-6. And he was never going to get away from that pretty much at all. He's got to find some way to turn one of his 30 outfielders into some pitching and start building up that pitching side of his team.
I haven't looked at Brian's team in a while. That lineup is stupid.
Yeah.
That is just ridiculous.
Yep. And then you go look at that pitching staff and you go, Jesus Christ. Doesn't have any.
You're right. You know what? He's not going to take ERA WHIP. Not with those guys.
No.
So it just won't it won't end in a tie. Or it's going to take all 5 pitching cats. He just has to win one hitting cat.
Yeah, one. Yeah, and I haven't looked at it. Maybe let me see if I can find it real quick. It might even be stolen bases. I think Cramps might be low on stolen bases. But before I completely make that comment, let me.
Well, does D. Gordon steal bases anymore?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But he's not too bad in the on the stolen bases. I think he might have somebody else. But Ort has Mondesi, right? So.
He does. He does. Yeah.
So if Ort takes the stolen bases, again, it's over, right? He only needs one of those categories. Yep. Average, stolen bases. He's not going to get him in home runs and RBIs and probably runs, but the rest of it is fine. So yeah, I'm going with Ort also.
This format is perfect for Ort's team. 2 weeks he's going to have 50 starts. Yep. Every 2 weeks.
Yep.
With all the pitchers he has.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to bite him, and again, I somehow he does it. I don't know how he does it because I think about it every year. He's got these minor leaguers, and they're all around 50 innings, 70 innings, and I keep thinking at some point in time they're going to run out of their inning limit, and he's not going to have anywhere to put them on his major league staff. But he never seems to run into that issue. I don't know if he just is dumping people that are so bad that we don't even recognize that he's dumping them. But he's constantly just filling that minor league roster with people who are pitching and giving him some active innings. And when he gets to the limit, he finds a way to squeeze them onto his roster. So, yeah, this type of format with 2 weeks, he's going to do some pitching damage for sure. All right, so let's look at that division. So now we have the Lions and the Elevation. Again, both these guys, if you look at the numbers, probably match up pretty well. Lions definitely will have the advantage over quality pitching.
Right.
But as we talked about, Ort's going to flood them with overall number of pitchers. Is that going to be enough to take it from the Lions? And not really knowing
I
plays, being the new guy, not ever seeing how he's going to handle it, and knowing how Ort handles it, I could see Ort take the division.
Yeah, I don't see enough hitting for Alex to be able to take enough categories to force the tie, let alone win. But I think pitching-wise, Ort's going to take the counting cats and pitching. He'll lose the statistical cats, but I don't see Ort losing enough of the hitting cats to make a tie come into play. So I'll go Ort as well.
Okay. All right. One more division.
Amish win a division. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Yeah, it's the North, Great North, Great White North. Number 1 seed is the Scorpions. Me facing up the number 4 seed from last year, which is the Bears, which I do not think is the number 4 team. I'd probably had them as the number 2 team. So, if Chris did put this bracket together and he saw that, hey, the first week I'm going to play the Scorpions, and he was like, okay, that's fine. Either he's nuts or I'm in for a shellacking. I'm not sure which one it is yet.
Yeah.
So we actually match up pretty closely. Again, looking at stats, I do have the better hitting and pitching side. His hitting side is actually really good from a standpoint of home runs and RBIs. I think I have him on average and probably stolen bases. But I think my pitching is a lot better than his pitching. Even though he has, he made out a bunch of trades over the offseason for a lot of pitchers. They weren't, they're kind of average. Your average pitchers, not your top of the line starting pitchers. So I'm hoping that I can still pull this off and not lose to Chris. But it would not surprise me one bit if I did lose to Chris.
Well, one thing I don't see on his team is a closer.
Yeah,
a legitimate closer.
No, he doesn't. And I should have dominated him on that, but all my closers seem to be falling off also. Going into next week, if I have one closer, I'll be surprised.
I think this is the best matchup by far of any of the first round matchups. And yeah, you got you got screwed in this matchup, but I think you have enough.
Yeah,
I think pitching will be the main factor in determining your victory and specifically saves.
Yep.
I know Chris is. I know that's one of the things he's wanted to do is get some bullpen. I think maybe his thought is to get as many starting pitchers as possible and try and take some of those categories just along the same lines as Ord, but you still gotta have closers.
Yep. So the only thing I'm kind of hoping for that, with it being early, the first 2 weeks of matchup, that I feel that my pitchers, from what I've seen, are all ready to go. Right? They should be throwing the 6 innings, and I'm hoping that his guys aren't necessarily ready to go 6 or 7 innings, and maybe they cut them a little bit short, and they only go 4 innings,
right,
or something like that. So,
what is the latest on DeGrom?
As far as I know, he's fine. He's opening day. So but you never know. But
matchup wise, I mean,
last I saw, they said he's the opening day starter.
So Paddock has got Arizona twice, San Francisco and the Dodgers. 3 of those are pretty good matchups. Verlander's got Seattle, Arizona. Jeez, the Diamondbacks have got a killer start to this.
Yeah.
DeGrom got Atlanta. That's going to be a tough one. But your 3 horses have some favorable matchups. I don't know what it looks like for Chris, but if those 3 guys do what they're supposed to do, then that puts you in a great spot.
Yeah. So are you picking me?
Yeah, I did pick you.
All right, cool.
Chris was, I gave credit to Chris earlier for the play.
Hey, you cut out there.
idea, but I think I give Chris credit for the playoff idea, but I think he trolled me earlier today, so I'm going to definitely go against him until I figure out what's in that Baseball America article.
Yeah,
Chris is giving me a lot of bullshit. So
I think it was just giving you a hard time that that you dropped.
Well, I spent like 3 hours trying to figure it out.
That 5 years from now, you just dropped the ace of the Indians. So I'm sure you'll have multiple opportunities to pick the guy back up if you need to.
Well, I hope so.
All right. Moving on to the number 2 seed and number 3 seed, we have the Amish Brotherhood versus the Killer Cars. And again, on looking at the stats, you guys are fairly close to each other on the pitching side. You do have the advantage on the hitting side. So on paper, you should win this.
Well, every time I look at my team, every time I look at the CBS rankings on my team, makes me want to puke.
Yeah,
I'm not in love with my team at all. I should win, but I'm not going to be surprised if Johnny gets a save from he doesn't have any closers, but maybe he calls someone up from the minors who comes in and gets a save,
right.
And my team doesn't get a save, and that's the matchup, right? I lose saves, so I don't know. I have no idea about my team. I have no confidence that they can beat anyone right now, and I'm okay if they suck, because I'll go rebuild and let's just do it.
Right.
But
well,
before you trade
any of your big boys, I don't have a whole lot of stuff to give up, but don't be trading Arenado for a draft pick.
I've received those types of offers,
and it was probably from me. No. All right.
I will pick myself, but not in a very close match.
Yeah. No, I'm going to pick you too. I think the Cards have traded off enough people in the off season that he's back into a rebuilding mode faster than what you are. So you should take this. And unless some freak stuff happens, you should take this matchup. All right. So for the division, we have you and me. Again, if I can get past the beers, I should get past you.
I'm looking at my lineup, trying to think of all the miracles that have to happen for my lineup to put up numbers to make this close. I'm not seeing it. Like Carpenter's got to turn into Carpenter 5 years ago, and maybe 4 more Carpenters like from 5 years ago have to be added to my team on waivers, and I don't think they're available.
They're not out there.
So, yeah, Puig. Honestly, when Puig came down with COVID, he just signed off on winning the division. So, because he was my ace in the hole. He was come out and hit 10 homers.
Yeah, he was your magic card, and he screwed it up for you. All right.
Yeah, I spent 3 hours today combing the waivers, building up a list of like 25 guys I was going to add. And then I dumped them all because no one's going to make a difference on my matchup in 2 weeks. Even if I get by Johnny, it won't matter.
Right.
So I'm going to pick you to win.
Cool. I'm going to pick myself to win too.
Okay.
All right. So now we got the division winners. So we have from the south we got the Wallabies. From the east we got the Rockets. From the west, we got Elevation. And from the north, we got the Scorpions. So for the conference champion, let's start in the Atlantic. You want to do you see the Rockets or the Wallabies winning that matchup?
Who's the last team between those that's won a title?
Oh, shit. I think Rockets won the title the last. Let me check real quick. That might even be one of my trivia questions for you. Uh, yeah, Rockets won. Actually, both of them won. Rockets won in 2011, and the Wallabies won in 2012.
How great would it be if Brent made like 5 appearances this year and won it all,
When it's
as opposed to Mike, who's been on the board every day for the last 9 years.
right.
I'm gonna go Brent.
You're gonna go Brent.
Yeah.
I mean, Wallabies are the East have pretty much owned this conference. If Brent can pull this off, I'd be shocked, but I can see it happening. I can definitely see Wallabies beating them.
I think there's a lot of similar stats among the Final Four.
Yeah.
Again, it could be any combination of these 4 teams
Oh yeah.
to meet in the finals and ultimately win it all. I'm going to go with Brent though.
Okay.
Based on nothing.
I'll go with Brent just because it's been a while since he's been in there, and although it's been a while since Mike's been in there too, but just to so we don't drag on forever, we'll both go with the Wallabies. All right.
Okay.
So in the Pacific, we have the Scorpion in the Elevation.
Well, you should win,
I
but
should.
I'm going to say I think it's going to be a magical year for Ort. He's going to set unbelievable pitching records in defeating you.
Wonderful.
And I know you'll disagree.
Yeah.
And you have every reason to disagree.
Yeah. There's
so
no way
in an alternate,
there's no way in hell I'm thinking Ort to win this.
So here's what we'll do. From here, we'll splice it in half, and we'll do an alternate podcast where Ort wins, and another one where you win.
Okay.
And let the fans decide. You should win.
All right.
You should win.
So you'll go with Ort, and I'll pick myself. So for the championship game, you have Elevation versus the Wallabies.
And I will pick the Elevation to win.
And you're going to pick the Elevation to win because of him being able to, again, probably in that last matchup, he's not going to be able to grab all those pitchers off the waiver. So he's going to be stuck with who he has.
But if you look at how many pitchers he has.
Yeah, right. But if you believe in Ort.
It's an advantage over everyone.
How much did Ort pay you before you did this show to make him the champion?
I'm thinking, what would turn the BDL upside down? An Ort victory. Do you think we'd ever hear the end of it?
Not for a while, that's for sure.
That'd be great.
All right. So I'm going to pick myself so I'm picking myself to make it to the championship, and I'm playing Wallabies. Just at that point in time, I'll find a way to lose it, and so the Wallabies would.
Baloney. If we're being completely honest, the winner of the Bears Scorpions matchup is the winner of the league.
Quite possibly, although I can still see any team, I can see any of the 3 teams from the East or the Wallabies also winning it. But I do agree with you. To me, whoever wins between me and Chris in that first week should make it all the way to the championship game.
It would take just a monumental effort from another team to beat your Bears going forward after that first week. That said, you're going to beat Brent if you meet him in the finals.
Okay.
So,
all right.
That much we can agree on.
All right. I'll go with that. All right. Anything else you want to talk about the playoffs? That's pretty good. I think we gave a pretty good breakdown there.
Yeah, that was good. It was fun.
So a question that was asked in the forum: is this championship the same as any other championship? For instance, if you won your first BDL championship this year, are you gonna treat it like you won it any other year, or does it not mean as much?
Oh, it would mean the world. It doesn't matter if I win. Are you kidding me? If I win, It wouldn't make a difference if it was 60. We could play for a week. If I won it all, I'm the champion. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
10 years down the line, we won't remember that it was a 60-game season. We'll just remember that the Amish won the 2020 baseball championship, the BDL championship.
Yep.
That's how I would look at it.
Yep.
And I would remind everyone every day for 10 years.
Right. I 100% agree with you. I think if whoever wins it is definitely going to say, yep, you know what, I won a BDL championship. And unfortunately, I think you're going to have 15 other people going, you know what, that was a modified season, so it doesn't really count. But whatever. It counts.
But we're all playing. Yeah, all 16 of us play by the same rules for that same duration. It's not like, the Generals had an extra week of stats to count if they won.
Right.
You win, you win.
Yep.
Based on the format that it's given you. So
yep. No,
take it and run with it and celebrate.
Yep. 100% agree. All right. We have you have a few more minutes, Joe, or you running out of time? Because I have some.
No, let's do it.
I have some trivia questions for you. You want to do them?
I'm ready to fail miserably.
All right.
Hit me.
All right. So the first question.
So is this like BDL history?
Yeah.
Trivia or
yep.
BDL owner trivia?
No, it's all BDL history for the most part. And depending on how far we go down this path, it's the current players so far. If we want to do more, I can come up with more of people who are no longer in the league. But the ones I have for you are current players.
Okay.
All right. So besides the three new guys, there are two teams who have never made it to a championship appearance. Who are those two teams?
Appearance? I will say
they've never made an appearance, so not the three new guys. There's only two teams who've never made a championship appearance.
All right, I think the Woo is one of them.
Yep.
And I know my team is the other.
Yep. There you go. Bingo. See? Pretty easy.
That sucks. Thank you for hitting me hard with the first question.
All right. So, you like that, huh? Out of the three new guys, because of course Zach's been here a year, but I'm going to consider him a new guy, and he hasn't made the championship appearance either. So of these three new guys, who do you think will make a championship appearance first? And that's more of a prediction, not a trivia.
Sure. Just based on what I just looked at while we were talking, I think Zach's team is looking great down the road. It's going to take a while. I think Alex's team, he took over a really nice squad, but I haven't seen him be active to the point where he's going to need to make moves to solidify that roster. I don't know enough about Michael's team, but just based on what I saw of those three teams, I really like Alex's future. Zach's future.
Yeah,
his team looks really solid. His minors.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna probably agree with you there. I think Zach, if his minors come through and he can make some good moves, he can do it. Alex, by having Harley's old team, should be able to do it, but I don't know again how Alex is going to manage that team yet.
Yeah.
All right. So next trivia question. So besides the three new guys and also you and John, who you answered in the first question, there was a total of 8 teams who've never won a championship. So there's 5 already named, right? The 3 new guys, you and John. Who are the 3 other teams that have never won a championship?
The Cars.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm cheating. I'm looking at my list here. Ort. Yep. I know he didn't win. And Chris. Did Chris win?
No, yeah, Chris won in 2018.
Oh, sorry, I was pretending that never happened. I don't know who.
Kevin.
Hmm.
Downs.
Oh, right.
Yep. So if your prediction's right, one of these teams, Ort, should get his first championship this year.
That's true. I'm not going to openly root for his team, but that would be pretty cool to see
Okay.
for Ort. Not for you.
Not for you. All right. So next one. So this is kind of based off of the number of years that you've been in the league. There's two teams who have the lowest percentage of championship appearances. Who are those two teams? So basically, and again, not including the guys who never made the championship appearance and the new guys.
Okay, so I think Johnny's only been in one final,
Let me see this. Right.
and he may have been in two finals.
Yep, he was in two finals.
Okay.
And we mentioned them earlier because you asked me when was the last time both these teams won a championship.
Oh, so I guess Brent's only been in one final, right? And he won that year.
Yep.
Okay. And then have the Cramps only been in one?
No, Cramps have been in two.
Okay. I don't know who the other team is. I should, because I know we just talked about it. But
Yep. So it's Mike, the Rockets. He's only been in one championship game.
Really?
Yep.
I thought he had more than one title.
Nope. He only has one title.
Oh wow.
I think he has a bunch of
that's surprising because I expect more from Mike.
Yep.
I expect him to be in the title match every year with the team that he always puts together.
Yep.
You disappoint me, Mike.
It is very shocking that as good as his team is, that he's only made the appearance once, and of course he won that one time that he did make it. But yeah, I would have.
That's a great question.
I would have expected more. All right, so kind of based on the same thing. So based on the number of years you've been in the league, name the two teams who have the lowest playoff appearance. So the number.
Counting myself. Counting myself. Or?
Well, you could count yourself, but that would be the wrong answer.
Yeah, because I've turned it up after the first 7 years of shit.
Yeah. Well, and the only reason you wouldn't qualify for it is because you were in the league one less year than the other two guys.
Okay, so Woo. I would pick Woo as the first team, and would Ort be the second team?
Nope.
Seemed like they're always in the playoff contention.
Yep. Ort's been there quite a bit.
How about Brent?
Nope, not Brent.
I don't know who it is. I don't want to say Kevin. Would it be Double Downs?
Nope.
I don't remember who the Double Downs were before Kevin took over.
I'd have to look it up. But it wouldn't be counting those guys anyways. It would only be.
Okay.
So
just teams that have been around since I've been around.
Yeah. So Double Down's previous owner was Don. I don't know what Don's last name was. But it was actually Brian Cramps.
Oh wow. Okay.
So both.
See, I've been around too long.
Yep. So both Brian and John have been around in the league for 14 years, and both have only have 4 playoff appearances each.
And I got 3, right?
Well, you got 4 playoff appearances, but you've only been in the league for 13 years, so your percentage is a little higher. And I didn't want to keep on picking on you, so.
I appreciate that.
All right, we got a couple more here.
All right.
So, Kevin of the Double Downs, does he have more playoff appearances or Ripken nominations, and do you know the number of each?
I will say Ripken nominations, and I will say 3-2.
It was a trick question because it's equal. he had three nominations and 3 playoff appearances.
I get A for effort, and honestly, you should give me the points for that one.
Yeah. I was surprised that you got the 3 nominations. That's pretty good. So there are 2 other teams in the current league that have 3 nominations for the Ripken Award. Who are the other 2 other teams that have 3 nominations?
Scotty, I'll
Yep.
say is one of them.
Yep, that was the easy one.
I will say.
Yeah, the other one's pretty easy too.
I will say Michael.
Yeah, Mike. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So Scotty, Mike.
I know that I should have like 5 or 6 nominations, but that I may be biased.
Yeah. Yeah, just a little bit there. How you got nominated twice, I have no idea. But
well, everyone loves me. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. You are one of the most loved people in this league, so you probably should have won it every year. You're right.
Hey, that you said it, not me.
I
can only agree with you.
All right. So my last little bit here, last question, unless you want me to come up with more. So Matt, lovely Matt of the Carolina Cardinals, has been in this league for 2 years. And this isn't really a trivia question. This is more of a give me your thoughts. So he's been in the league for 2 years. Matt's made the playoffs both years. He's made the championship playoffs both years. He's won 1 championship. He's been nominated for the Ripken both years, and he's won the Ripken both years. So basically in the last 2 years, this has been Matt's league. Is it going to continue, or was that a fluke? And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, both years, I didn't think he had the best team in the playoff matchups. So I don't know how he's done it. He has an eye for talent. There's no question about it. He brings something that Arlie used to bring to his team. Just I can see Matt having his own database of calculations on what works best in each weekly matchup, similar to what Arlie was doing.
Yep.
It's hard to beat someone who pours that much into their team. I think Matt does that. So for that reason alone, I don't think that his success will end anytime soon. I think ultimately, though, he plays more talented teams. And I think the winning streak is going to end, but I don't think necessarily his playoff streak is going to end. I think his team is set up for the long haul, and his background in minor leagues will always put him in position to find really key pieces.
Yeah.
So he's been really quality.
Yep. No,
I have nothing bad on him.
100% agree with you. I think he will always probably be a playoff contender and always be in lineup for making a run at it. And he's always going to be putting quality minor leaguers into that system and being able to either flip them or use them to get what he needs to always be competitive. And if he does not have a spreadsheet of stuff, I would be shocked. So
absolutely,
100% agree with your take there. So that's pretty much all I had. Joe, you have anything else you wanted to go over or talk about?
No, this has been fun. I'm glad you threw this together. I'm glad that we were able to come up with a time to put it together, and let's do it again for sure.
Yep. So my concern now is that I'm a little concerned that hopefully the quality, I think I might have heard it break up a few times. And again, we don't have really a way to go back and clean things up. And so hopefully the quality got through a majority of it. But no, I really enjoyed this, and hopefully we can turn this into some type of a somewhat a regular occurrence. I know your schedule's way tight, and if you keep on screwing me over on the times, then I'm going to drop you. But
I'm easily replaceable.
Yeah, I'm just playing. It's really hard to talk to yourself when you're doing this, so it's nice to have somebody else to talk to. So
I know. I tried to do the Pony Express once, just filled in for Mark one time, and it was weird.
Yeah.
Talking to yourself about playoff match or just matchups in general.
Yep.
I had fun, but this is fun. We'll definitely do it again. We'll figure it out.
Cool. All right, man. That's all I have. Want to say goodbye to everybody?
All right, bud.
Later, dude.
Good luck, BDLers, except for Johnny.
Right.
And Bill. Bill, I hope you lose.
Yeah. All right, man. We're out. Thanks.